In Canada, the Ivy School of Business's 5 interlinked elements give you not just the business fundamentals that you would expect from an MBA program, but also the leadership capabilities required to turn concepts into decisions, knowledge into action, and ideas into change. The Ivy Executive MBA opens your mind to how the business world really works and prepares you to take challenges head on. According to CPA Canada, people should consider becoming a CPA to be a recognized leader and to exert global influence.
You know, accounting is really a subject worth learning. When I was a younger man and going to school, I took an introductory accounting class and decided that maybe accounting was a really good major for me, even though I didn't necessarily want to become an accountant. You see, I'm kind of a type A personality. I'm the kind of person that likes to be in charge, likes to have responsibility, be accountable, call the shots. And I saw myself as potentially in the future maybe owning my own business or being the CEO of a major corporation.
You know, the main reason students tell you they go to university, this has been true for decades, is to get the knowledge and credentials to get a good job. And now we're in a situation where we have many employers who are telling us that they are looking at university graduates who do not have the skills and capacities and competencies they need to fill their jobs. And so we have job vacancies. We also have research studies that can document this. It's hard to connect it to the past because we didn't have these studies in the past. But for example, if you ask most faculty about what is the most important element of a university education, they will tell you it is to teach students to think critically. There isn't a university president alive who hasn't at some point said to the students, incoming or current, to the public, to parents of students, that if you come to my university, you will leave here being a more critical thinker than when you first arrived. And yet, we now have research studies that tell us that some proportion, not a majority, but perhaps 30-40% of students, when critical thinking is measured, show no demonstrable change or improvement in critical thinking in the first 2 years of their education.
You know, holding up theories, basic studies, that's core knowledge. We should study core knowledge, but have we examined what core knowledge should be in this digital era? We, the academia, no idea. We have not. Everybody talks about core knowledge, but it's total bullshit because no one gave a real thought, a deep thought about what an enlightened man or woman should learn in this digital era.
You talk in the book about how university degrees are no longer status symbols, they've lost their value. The more bachelor degrees are awarded, for instance, the more the BA loses its cachet. And a lot of the changes that you're talking about have happened also to make university spaces for everyone. Now, you know, they used to be spaces primarily for elite white men. The school that I went to graduate school at, I didn't allow women before 1970. It used to not allow Black students. So it can seem like the collapse of the university is happening just when it's beginning to open up to people who aren't just elite white men. And I'm curious your thoughts about that.
No, it's a very good question. Very good question. It's a new stage. Of course, academia has been opened up. It was a place for a very small elite, not anymore. Still, there are so many layers of societies still hope for, getting accepted to the university. But now, once you can acquire your education in with so many other alternatives, then you don't need the gatekeepers. We've been the gatekeepers for years. Cancel the gatekeepers. And then study anything you wish anywhere. So this is another evolutionary stage. And we know for sure that once you'll be judged by your skills, only skills, nobody will ask you where you've acquired your knowledge. It will close the gaps of inequality faster than the academia closes it now. The universities and colleges are supplying a diminishing personal premium of the academic degrees. I'll give you some examples. It used to be a formative social life period, but now we know youngsters spend less time on campuses. It used to be a period of debt relief, but students work while learning. It was an enriching intellectual experience. Is it? We're so boring. Compare us to documentaries, for example. There are so many more fascinating and interesting alternatives in the market. We used to serve as a mean to improve the employment potential and wage level. But it's declining year by year. 40% of US waiters have a bachelor degree. 50% of UK undergrads unemployed.
So what the heck is critical thinking? In our view, business school teaches business orthodoxy. Graduates are groomed to think appropriately to meet the needs of employers, particularly large employers that wield more influence. In that way, it resembles 19th century finishing schools for young women of quality. Too many business school graduates parrot back worn-out concepts like survival of the fittest. They ignore contemporary thought by academics like Israeli philosopher Daniel Milo, who offers a vigorous critique of the quasi-monopoly that Darwin's natural selection has on our idea of the natural world. In popular thought, Darwinism has even acquired the trappings of an ethical system focused on optimization, competition, and innovation. Yet in nature, imperfect creatures often have the evolutionary edge. Look at us. Do they consider the contributions of scholars like Ulrich Beck, author of Risk Society in the late 20th century, who studied externalities not considered by free market economists, those favored by business schools? Do they, like so many Americans, confuse Adam Smith's invisible hand with the hand of God? Do they consider tax rates as a competition in which successful nations achieve growth by lowering corporate tax rates to attract mobile capital? This isn't meant as a diatribe against free market economics or conservative thought. Universities also have identity politics orthodoxies and environmental studies orthodoxies that manage to ensure that areas of study become tribalized so that concepts aren't shared but weaponized.